In life, nothing is real. You're just taking it real. Life is just circling to grasp for something that doesn't grasp for itself. Whatever you take, it's anicca and anatta disappearing as always. Therefore, there is just self-torture that remains. Are you enlightened that life is just about making up something out of nothing? Because being deludedly grasping something that is not real to be real, attached to something that doesn't attach to itself, that's why it's like making up something out of nothing. So life is like having self-torture, trying to grasp something that doesn't grasp for itself, always grasp for it. When you take it, you grab it, and then it disappears. It's anicca and anatta, always ever-changing, always shifting and changing and disappearing. Therefore, to be direct with the enlightenment, everything is from not grasping, either grasping or not grasping, so that you are not entangled with the whole life and something that is not life. For both, something that is called life and not life. For everything, not grasping, either grasping or not grasping. This is natural cutting at the present. There is no need to waste the time getting old and reborn. So be instantaneous. Be diligent to use the reminders, the great thought. Constantly use the great reminder, not grasping, either grasping or not grasping. Naturally, it will end from attachments, detach from detachment itself, put down the putting down itself. That is Nibbana at the present. It's not in a way of searching and seeking for the path to the enlightenment on and on. That is grasping for something that doesn't grasp for itself, attaching to something that doesn't attach to itself. This is all the same for worldly and Dhamma. Doing self-torture, any religions is the same. The recent generation is just doing the same thing, just practicing for achievement. That's why it's not detached from detachment. It's not liberating from the liberation. Therefore, it's not liberate from the attempt to liberate, trying to grasp for the liberation. Therefore, it's not free from the freedom itself, from the attempt to be free. Trying to put down in order to put down. Therefore, there is not true putting down. Delusively practice for achievement. How can you look for Nibbana in the future? Not at the present. This is being fooled by the desire. Just go on trying to grab something that doesn't grab. This is not detached from detachment itself, trying to detach, aiming towards detachment, and also not liberate from the attempt to liberate, trying to be free. This is not free from the freedom, from the attempt to be free. This kind of agenda is actually the root cause. It is the suffering itself and also the cause of the suffering, the root cause. This is the root cause, the original cause. In order to be Nibbana right at the present, Vimutti, from the Vimutti, at the present. Detach from the detachment. Put down the putting down at the present. Everything is from not grasping, either grasping or not grasping. And proceed together with all the delusion to grasp. Not grasping, either grasping or not grasping. All together with all that delusion to grasp and not grasp. Automatically there is cleansing without trace through the emptiness. So make a conclusion with the essence of the enlightenment so that there is no complication. Do not enter the state of extreme, being extreme and slack. The choosing to achieve or rejection is both sides of duality, slackening and extreme. So do not fall into this duality, into these two sides. From not grasping, either grasping or not grasping, there is no need to be in the middle either. Don't try to be in the middle way. If you're trying to do that, there is the desire trying to be in the middle. Do not give exception even to the middle way. Everything is in the same. Not grasping, either grasping or not grasping. Neither choosing nor not choosing. Not grasping, either grasping or not grasping. Nibbana is right there and then. Put down the putting down right away. Detach from detachment right away. And all the dana, merits, to do the merits, good not good, this is falling into the category of the cycle of karma. Going to heaven, down to hell, back and forth. And then resting in the human realms, on and on. This is the cycle of samsara, circling in arising and ceasing. This is not yet enlightenment, not yet nibbana, because it is fixing on the practice, do good or not good. It's just an action, attachment to action, not yet falling down towards nibbana, not in the ending yet. Therefore, with everything is from not grasping, either grasping or not grasping. Use this reminder to dissolve the duality, the slackening and the extremity. Do not let it create such states. In other words, do not choose, because when you choose, it's going to be either side, extreme or slacken. So everything is from not grasping, either grasping or not grasping. In other words, it's called no need to choose the middle way or at the rims, left or right, neither choosing or not choosing. This can give ending to the ending, cease to the ceasing. The desire will not restless and struggle. It will not tilting to left or right, or not aiming to this or that, and extend and connect and arise to be whatever. This is cease the ceasing. It's not about trying to begin or to end, to arise or to cease. Nibbana right at the present. End the ending right at the present. Don't let your thoughts and wishes to imagine into for the future, on and on. Where is it that is nirvana? Where is it that is heaven? Is Buddha giving the words that cut through right in front of him for the audience. End the ending right in front. For everything is from not grasping, either grasping or not grasping. Not grasping, even the not grasping. Then the put down can be putting down. Let go of the letting go right at the present. So use the reminders that have self-cleansing often. Often use the reminders of self-cleansing. Do not let dualities happening. Do not tilt towards extremity or slackening. Even the middle way is not the way. It's not about anything in the middle anyway, because otherwise it's going to be an attachment, a fixation to the middle way, the desire, delusion and delusive attachment in the middle way. Therefore, with everything is from not grasping, either grasping or not grasping even the not grasping itself, even the middle way or neutrality is not about anything in it. Whether it is extremity, slackening, or the middle way, ends always. It's not about anything in anything all by itself. Automatically, it's not about anything to do with trying to begin or to end, to arise or to cease. So you need to use the recall that has self-cleansing, to have natural cutting, no matter what, not grasping, either grasping or not grasping. So life can be balanced, lifestyle can be in moderation, not with too much worries or over the top in living the life. There will be simplicity in living all by itself. It's not living with ambitions, too much ambitions, so that you are looking for trouble on your own, or searching problems to dominate yourself. This is like having enough in the having enough itself, in living the life. It's the life of the noble one, the life of those who have the essence of the enlightenment. It's not the life that is over the top with luxurious. This will not create burdens for the life. Therefore, the burdens of living the life that is there a lot of each group of beings in this world, in this samsara, is from trying to attach to something that is impossible to be attached, trying to grasp for something that doesn't grasp for itself, making up something out of nothing. And even doing that is also temporary, and it disappears eventually. What you get, it will disappear. It will end. It will not be there. So if you know how to put down the putting down, let go of the letting go, from not grasping even the non-grasping self, you can know how to have enough in the enough. Because anyway, you're gonna just let your birth, old age, sickness and death disappearing at every lifetime. Even what you take in, what you consume into your mouth, into your stomach, passing through your intestines, you don't even know that is good or not good. Even it's passing through the toilet, you also don't know even that it's delicious or not. It's just your makeup anyway, trying to have delicious meal, even though the essence is not about it. When you just having full stomach, it has nothing to do with trying to look for something to eat for your own sake. It's just at the tip of your tongue that you feel delicious. And after it passed through your tongue, it has nothing to do with being delicious or not already. Trying to live, trying to eat try to taste like this and that. The desire is just restless on and on. This is troubling. Just about eating is already a burden. Only one matter of eating is already so troubling. Therefore, you're gonna get yourself in trouble for all matters. Therefore, the life is always excessive for all matters, and it becomes a burden, concerns and worries, and then pressuring yourself to seek more and more in earning and spending. Then you have to seek more to spend, to live, when you don't know how to live moderately. According to how much you can gain, how much you can earn, you just seek for the sake of your own satisfaction. You don't solve at the origin at all. You just look at the end result, trying to feed your satisfaction to your delusion to live the life without moderation. Therefore, you don't retreat back to the moderation. You just struggle endlessly. If you know to have enough and moderation, moderate in the moderation, enough to the enough, the excessiveness will be reduced. The seeking will not having to be so forceful and without pressure. But whenever you create burdens, you don't know how to have enough and to end it. You just extend yourself to seek more and more. Sometimes you get, sometimes you don't. You just go on in that difficulty endlessly. You suffer with trying to get the loan, and you think that you're going to gain something out of it. But whenever you have to pay back the loan, it's not that easy. This is all about the end result. The original cause. You don't just yield to have enough. Not having enough in the having enough. Not moderate in the moderation itself. Therefore, with everything, you are in the state of making up something out of nothing. Like trying to mold water to become something. It's just melting down without having anything at all there. Every time you try to do it, it's just nothing left. So you have to have enough in the having enough, yield to the yielding. Not grasping even the non-grasping. Be enlightened well with this point. And so you will not having to be tortured with being entangled towards anything. The essence of the enlightenment has to go together with living the life. You just separate the world and Dhamma, separate samsara and nibbana. We have to move on together so that there is helping through releasing and liberation for all. Otherwise, samsara and nibbana cannot go together. There is going to be difficulties. Samsara will be in difficulties. Nibbana also will be in difficulty. We have to move on together. Those who liberate from the suffering, those who still attached, are still in difficulties. Life with not grasping, either grasping or not grasping, is gonna be the life without attachment. having the life without an attachment to the life. This is already the life of the noble ones. And then being noble ones also will end that status also. Everything is from not grasping, either grasping or not grasping even the non-grasping. If the grasping and the not grasping can move together, it will help one another. And those who attach and those who not attached will go together. Nibbana and samsara will move on together so that there is cleansing of the emptiness for one another. There is no need to separate because the great compassion doesn't have division. The great compassion of the Buddhas, of the great perfection, doesn't separate religions from the beings. They bless all from the highest heaven realm to the lowest hell realms. Whether there are different religions, doctrines, dogmas, no separation. They are not running away through Nibbana from samsara. We move on together. They move together with samsara, so that there is helping of the cleansing through the extinction without trace altogether. Buddha, Arahants, all beings without separation move on together, and then automatically the beings will not become beings. If let the beings to search or practicing individually, making merit, this and that, this is not gonna go further at all. Whatever they do is just fixated to whatever they do. Without the great compassion, then the beings will just fall into the difficulties. So for those who already detach from detachment, liberate from liberation, we move on together so that all the imbalance will be shifted to the balance more and more in living the life of this physical world and samsara. It's not going to be too much of merit, too much of karmic difficulties, too much of karma. That's from not attached to either attachment or non-attachment. That's from not grasping, either grasping or not grasping. So it has nothing to do much with merit, perfection or whatever. Just cut deluded knowing for all beings. No need to wait for the beings to accumulate the perfection and merit on and on. Just help cut deluded knowing for all. Instantly, for the Berserkers, there is no division. The mighty force of cleansing will just immediate to help one another, helping through cleansing of extinction and emptiness immediately. With the essence of terminologies of the essence, even we cannot use conversation to understand each other, but the power of the extinction and emptiness is already helping. This is the blessing. And then the beings will be able to catch up. We are still amidst samsara, amidst the beings as always, until the beings come to an end of the beingness, until samsara is ended. Therefore, with everything, it's ending right at the beginning. We solve right at the beginning. All the agendas, all the obligations have to step back. Not having to, even the not having to, not no agenda, even the no agenda. This is the beginning point. Because for everyone, there's always being obliged, having to, always practicing, always with agendas. That's why it's impossible to put down the putting down. That's the beginning point. Always, whatever, just setting up, having to. This is called intentional karma. Karma overlaying body and mind. Karma overlaying the world and Dharma. This is all about karma. Karma overlaying. Setting up is the beginning. Setting up at this thing, at that thing. Having agenda for this and that. This is the beginning. The beginning is the samsara itself. How can we end? Where can we end? We end right at the beginning. Not having to, either having to or not having to. Not setting up, the setting up or not setting up. This is knowing how to put down the putting down. And we can move on together for those who still having agendas or not agendas. Having to and not having to. The beginning ends itself. We are not enlightened yet. At the beginning of oneself. Always having the agendas, overlaying, seeing, knowing, and perceptions. This is the origination of one's own samsara. Since it starts within looking, seeing, and knowing, the setup. Are you enlightened that this is your own samsara? You are trying to practice mindfulness, concentration, and samadhi. You're trying to end, but it's impossible to truly end because you still seek and you cannot find the beginning. Because whenever you set up to know and to see, the beginning is right there and you cannot find the arising. How can you end it? Therefore, with everything, is from not grasping, either grasping or not grasping. From my to either my or not my. This is gonna give ending to the attempt to begin and to end. That is so overloaded, so excessive. It will be softened down, right at the beginning, at the attempt to begin and to end. No matter what, just my to either my or not my. Not grasping, either grasping or not grasping. Moving on together with something that is still grasping and not grasping. Samsara Nibbana, move on together. Vimutti and samsara move together, moved on together. Not having to, either having to or not having to. Together with that is still having to and not having to. Life is always between having to and not having to. So we just move on together with that. Not having to, either having to or not having to, with the both, having to and not having to. So there is a cleansing. And then it will have enough in the having enough itself. It will cease the ceasing itself. It will enable to having enough with the enough. Having enough with the delusion to life and all about life. Having enough. There will not be an attachment and delusion with the life. Life is there, but without delusion, without attachment. Then gradually everything will be more simple. On the contrary, we don't realize that we trying to begin and to end continuously, repeatedly. always tying up and then solving it again and again. Therefore, life is full of complications. This is called karmic difficulties. Karmic difficulties that is circling. Therefore, we have to step back to not grasping either the non-grasping. You have to dare to seize the seizing, end the ending. You have to retreat, to not grasp even the non-grasping, dare to seize the seizing, dare to stop the stopping. You are not far from the essence of the enlightenment at all. You are near and near, even it's invisible to you. But if you cut the cutting accordingly, end the ending accordingly, even you cannot see the Buddhas, but the essence is right there. So you have to retreat. Don't seek further and further. You have to retreat to the mind itself sometimes. Retreat to not grasp, even the not grasp. Whatever that is not enough, will having enough, will enable to having enough, and then you will realize that you know how to read what's happening with you. That the life with pressure, how it is and why. So you have to retreat, not grasping even the non-grasping, mind, even the mind itself. Retreat even to yield, to the yielding itself. So many things that you don't yield to, just try to retreat and yield to the yielding itself. All the trouble is because you don't yield. You don't yield to someone, you don't yield to something. You will realize that when you don't yield, you are troubling within your mind, within your emotions. So try to retreat, to yield the yielding itself. Don't think that you don't yield to anyone or yielding to anyone. Yield to yielding itself. No need to try to yield to someone. That's the enlightenment itself. That is already liberating from the beginning, giving ending to the beginning. You just diligently trying to begin. So you need to try to retreat, to not grasping, even the not grasping, and see if there is ending here. Retreat to the mind itself. Trying to mind will end itself or not. You have to retreat and try. Then you will realize by yourself from your past what happened. Always excessive, no matter what. Overloaded, really overloaded. Always not yielding. So retreat, yield to yield itself. Do not be obsessed with not yielding or trying to yield externally. Yielding him, yielding it, this is still external. Retreat to yield within the yielding in yourself. Instead, no need to try to yield externally. Yield internally, yield the yielding itself. With everything, with every matter. All the suffering and difficulties that is there, that has been there, just yield to yielding. See if you're gonna be liberated from it, naturally or not. Sometimes all the suffering is because you don't yield to it. You try to win over it. So you just suffer more. So you have to retreat, yield to yielding itself. You don't try to win over the suffering. Therefore, the suffering will not be overlaid itself. Then it will not be adding more suffering and burden not repeating and making it worse. Yield to yield itself. Even suffering is there. Yield even the yield itself. Yield even the yield itself. Then you can be beyond suffering and happiness. This is so simple. The essence of enlightenment is simple. It's just that in the past you study the language that is superficial too much, and you have to interpret. You haven't listened to the modern language of the present time. You listen to the language that is not yours. Therefore, the essence is not clear. So, listen to the language of the present, of the language that gives enlightenment. Let go, retreat to let go of the letting go itself. No need to think to let go of anything. If you let go of your family, will it be suffering or not? Because you let go in the wrong place. You don't retreat to let go at the origin. Let go of the letting go, not let go of something. With this, there is no pressure. This is called instantaneous vipassana, instantaneous cutting. Most of the time, you just obsess to look at the end result. You don't look right at the origin of the cause. You just go on and on with your desire. Therefore, you need to retreat at the beginning. Not attached to the non-attachment itself. Everything is from not attached to the non-attachment. Don't think to try to not attach to anything. For letting go also, with everything, let go of the letting go itself. Don't think of letting go of anything. Then you will not have trouble to try to let go. This is cutting at the circuit.